There we go. Good morning. It is Monday morning, the 22nd. It's about 7:30 this morning. I will need my glasses this morning. You know, some mornings your eyes are just a little fuzzy still. I noticed last week it was over 17 minutes. I want to apologize for that. This week will be at least 10 minutes shorter, so we'll go ahead and get into everything. One big announcement I want to make. Master's Voice, the gospel quartet, is coming to Leisure Livewires on the 21st of July. It's a Friday night. It'll be a concert, 6 p.m., $20 per person. That's going to get you one of the best meals you've ever had. They make some of the best pot roast in the world, glazed carrots, all that kind of stuff, salad bar, and some kind of great dessert, cheesecake, something like that. It will be a great time. You'll a night you won't forget for a long time. So just get a hold of Jessica. We'll be having online ticket sales in the near future, and we'll be selling them in person more into the middle of June into July. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. You'll get a reminder card if you're on our mailing list for Leisure Livewires, and we'll be there faster than you think. I just want to say a praise real quick. Last week we talked about anxiety, and one of the things. Now, tell me if this isn't God. One of the things was our downstairs air conditioner was out. Now, here's a huge praise. It's been really cool, not hot, and so it's not like we had to have it right away. Anyhow, no kidding. Well, you knew I didn't get the Ballcat Bible study going until Thursday because of internet issues and other issues, and which added to the anxiety. However, did Ballcat Bible study on Thursday, Thursday afternoon, evening, got a text that all the parts were in, and he delivered them Friday, or not Friday, Saturday. He delivered them early Saturday morning, and they're being installed today. So, wow. God has a really neat sense of irony, doesn't he? So the cure for anxiety. Yeah. God provides. Don't worry about what you'll eat or what you'll wear or when your air conditioner comes in. God will take care of it. So let's get into. I wanted to say something I noticed, and I just noticed it. Again, God having irony. Sermon on the Mount was said 2,000 years ago, 1,999 years ago, something like that. But even beyond that, it was written 1,900 years ago, way before the Bible was ever put into chapters and verses. I just thought this was neat. Probably has no theological significance at all, but the number 7 is the number of completion in the Bible. Lots of I'm not into numerology, but there are a lot of Bible number things that go together: 3, 40, 7, all that kind of stuff. Well, interestingly enough, 7 is the number of completion, and the final chapter that wraps up the Sermon on the Mount is chapter 7 of Matthew. So I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, probably no theological significance whatsoever, but it is the first time we hear at the end Matthew say, "And Jesus spoke like one having authority," which they weren't used to. Okay, today's going to be very brief. It's going to be that part of judging, and I think a lot of people get this confused. I'll read it and then I'll talk about some of the confusion. Let me get my Black Rifle coffee grenade going. Thank you, Tommy Cruise. Thank you every time I use this. Okay. It's not very long, so bear with me again. Somebody said when I said hardcore Southern Baptist, I just wanted to point out that it's really Holman Christian Standard Bible, and this is the Study Bible version. So it's got a bunch of notes at the bottom. and verses at the top. Okay. Here we go. This is the part where people get confused, and I think it says, don't judge. It doesn't say that. It does say that, but not like never. All right. Do not judge so that you won't be judged. For with the judgment you use, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but don't notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to a brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, and look, there's a log in your eye? Hypocrite. First take the log out of your eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Don't give what is holy to dogs, or toss your pearls before swines, or they will trample them with their feet. Turn and tear you to pieces. Okay. There's a lot there in a little short amount. So it doesn't say do not judge ever. We have to have some wisdom. We have to have some discernment. We have to have understanding. Think about this. If you never came to a conclusion about motivation or declared a wrong, everything would be fine. I mean, look what happens. Look how the world is right now. Look what happens when we don't say, hey, what you're doing is wrong and you shouldn't do that. Now, obviously we're going to agree with Christ, and this speaks to one of my biggest character flaws. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not judgmental, but one of my biggest character flaws is that I can easily see the character flaws in other people. Does that make sense? I mean, it doesn't take long for me to say, and I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to develop very close relationships because I just, it's hard for me to trust. I don't see folks that are pure in motive a lot of times. I feel like I get leveraged and used. So anyway, that's enough about me. What about you? What about the it doesn't say don't judge, it says don't judge unless you're ready to be judged by your standard. And this came to heart for me a few months ago. I really no longer expect anyone to live by my standard. You know what I expect? I expect them to live by the standard they claim to have. Don't rise to my level, and mine's not very high, but I feel like Paul when he said, I'm chief among sinners. I feel like when I walk into a room, the average of the integrity drops quite a bit. But the point is, there are people that walk around claiming to have a really high standard, and they get nowhere near it. So we're not going to name names, but I know you've got some rolling around in your head right now. So at the very end, it says, that's the don't cast your pearls before swine part. What is that saying? Well, first of all, don't judge unless you're ready to be judged by that standard, because you're going to be trying to pull specks out of people's eyes when you've got a log in yours. So work on you. Here's the thing. The only person I can control is me. And part of that control is not casting my pearls before swines. What would that be saying in today's words? That would be, don't waste your valuable energy and time and resources on people who aren't going to appreciate it anyway. Does that make sense? We complain about the people that stand on the corner with the cardboard signs, but I see people give them money all the time. There was one guy that had a sign just the other day, and it said, need help with a room. And I thought, well, what if I asked him, can I get you a place to stay? He'd probably say no, because he just wants money. Jesus said, the poor you will have always. Doesn't mean you ignore them, but when that was when Judas was saying, why did you let her break that expensive jar of perfumes, like a gallon of Chanel No. 5 in our money. And anyway, the poor you have always, but don't cast your pearls before swine. It doesn't mean ignore people or don't try, that kind of thing, but it does mean be wise about where you allocate your valuable time, energy, and resources, and your heart, that kind of thing. We love everybody, but we're not going to judge, but we do need to make some wise conclusions. And now, by judge, who's the ultimate judge? I'll give this credit to my son, Tommy. I don't know if he thought of it or heard of it, but he probably heard it at a youth thing or something years ago. But something he told me about when he gets into debates with folks about God's word, the Bible, if there really is a God, and that's ultimately their bottom line. Like today, everybody jumps straight to racist. I mean, you don't even get a debate. It's like, I don't think that's right. You're a racist. They in Bible debates, it's like, yeah, I don't think that's what God intended. Oh, who are you to judge me? Well, Tommy's reply is, I'm not judging you. I'm trying to let you know there is a judge, and you don't want to stand guilty before him. So, what do you have a standard? What is your standard? And are you willing to be judged by that standard as we get after other people? Here's the thing I'm going to close with. That whole concept of judging, leads to condemning. Southern Baptists were called judgmental, but I think that's because we try to hold society to a standard, the standard, right? But at the same time, not my job to condemn anyone. You know why? Because without Christ, they're already condemned. My job is to point them to the judge that is going to commute their sentence, who's going to pardon them, not to condemn them. So they're self-condemned. They're already condemned. Until somebody knows the Lord, they're condemned. Now, it's okay if I've got the logs out of my eyes, that helps me see more clearly. And then I can work on the speck in my brother's eye. All right. I hope that was shorter. Sorry for how long last time was. Let's stop the recording. You guys have a great day. Praise the Lord. Remember, there is a standard. We should live by it, not judge by it.